first, then show.
And welcome back.
Good evening, everybody. Once again, it's David B together with the Sly Guy, and let us all welcome back good friend of ours, da-da-da-da-da-da, Super Vegan Brian.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning, guys.
This
Good
is a
morning,
very
Brian.
unique moment because the last time we talked to this guy, we talked about Superman. Am I right?
Yeah, we
Yep.
sure did.
This time it's about sorcery. All right, so you
Yes,
guys
about
already know what
wizards,
I'm talking about. Yeah. We're
about
going to talk
spells,
about the
about.
Harry Potter franchise, one of the
That's
greatest
right.
of all time. Now, Sly, would you like to throw in the first question to Super Vegan Brian?
Yes. Actually, the first question, and probably something which most Harry Potter fans don't know. But what I'd like to know is if you've heard of Neil Gaiman's Books of Magic. It was
I've heard
a
of Neil
comic
Gaiman,
book.
but I've never heard of that. No.
Yeah.
What's
But
that?
there's a comic book known as Books of Magic where it had a protagonist which looked very similar to Harry Potter. So he looked very, very similar to Harry Potter. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Let's see, Books of Magic.
Books
Oh,
of Magic. Who's
wow.
the
Yeah,
author?
I just brought it up.
Yeah, see, so it looks exactly like Harry Potter. And now, when we think of magic, when we think of wizard now, okay, that's the very first image that comes to mind. You've got your tall guy, glasses, dark hair, wand. So that's Harry Potter. So, Brian, when did you first get into Harry Potter?
I would have been late to the game. It would have been a few years after the first book came out. I think it was right after the first movie came out. So I saw the first movie and then I started reading the books.
Oh, okay. See, so it was a movie first, and then the actual books.
Yeah,
Now,
that but then
when
I
you
had them all read before the movies came out.
oh, okay, I see. So you just kept on reading books. Now, before seeing the other movies, which of them was your favorite?
Oh, Azkaban. Yeah, the third movie, Prisoners of Azkaban, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
the,
change
the
in
third.
direction that just you go from delightful children's adventure, and I think that the first and second movies are some of the best because the direction involved was really immersing people in the magical world. But once you get to the third movie, you've been there for two straight movies, so the third movie focuses more on the story and does some, starts bringing up some of the darker aspects of the series, and you start getting a little bit more
Mhm.
serious. And since kids are growing up reading the books and watching the movies, it just makes sense. When I originally read them, I I was told that Azkaban was really good, and when I got to it, I wasn't disappointed. It just the idea of the mystery of figuring out who, you know, at first Harry's terrified of Sirius Black, and
Mm.
then by the end of the book he realizes he has family left, and it's just this this torrent of emotion goes through you while you're reading or watching the book. And it got to the point where the first two movies were almost page for page the same. There was really slight differences, and then the movies
Mm.
kind of come into their own in Azkaban, where they take a little bit more direction and play with the world a little bit. And then it all
Mhm.
fell apart in Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire is my least favorite movie.
Oh, right, right. Yes, it wasn't. But actually, the reason why Goblet, uh, most fans remember Goblet of Fire is because it had the Twilight guy and Harry and Dan Radcliffe in the same movie.
Didn't it
So it
predate
was,
Twilight?
You mean Robert Pattinson, the
yeah,
Twilight
Robert
guy?
Pattinson. It predated Twilight, but
Special appearance.
yep, but he was actually he played Cedric Diggory, and he was with Carrie all throughout the movie. And well, since after reading the book, I know that Cedric Diggory will eventually die at the end. But it was cool watching them together, especially right after Pattison starred in the Twilight movies. It was just like an Elseworld. And what was funny is because in Twilight, the lead actress there looked similar to Emma Watson. In a way, she looked similar to Emma Watson.
Oh, do you think so? I didn't find
Yeah.
that to be true. I think Emma Watson has a much more expressive face. I'm
Ah, yeah.
blanking on her name at the moment.
Yeah. Forgot her
Yeah, let's
name, but
see.
I
Oh,
think
we
it's
that's
Kristen. Kristen,
yeah, what's her name?
that's the actress.
Kristen.
Stewart, something like that.
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen
Yeah,
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So that is that.
it's too early for me. We have to bring up the fact that it's first thing in the morning for me.
Yep.
Mm.
7:21 a.m. So yeah, it's Kristen Stewart. Now, what the now later on? Okay, in the if we skip forward to the Deathly Hollows, there was this scene where where the three of them, like Harry, Ron, and Hermione, were in Mr. Lovegood's house. The daughter, the father of Luna Lovegood. Then when they were reading Tales of Beedle the Bard, he goes, it was the middle of twilight. Then Hermione goes, no, midnight. Then Ron goes, no, twilight. And they were mentioning the word twilight in a
Was
movie. So
that was that only in the movie and not in the books? I can't do the direct comparison to. I bet you it was only in the movie.
yeah, it was only in the movie because they emphasized the word twilight twice. And then I thought, oh, Twilight, Twilight. Oh, yeah, Emma Watson does kind of look like that girl in Twilight. And Robert Pattinson started Goblet of Fire. So, yeah, I guess it was an Easter egg that they were hiding in the movie
What are
after
your
all. They
guys'
just wanted to.
favorite what are your guys' favorite parts of the film or the books? What are your favorite ones?
Well,
My favorite book.
oh,
You just give me both. Favorite book, favorite movie.
Well, when I was a kid, I loved reading Hardy Boys.
Oh, I meant Harry
I don't know,
Potter,
Harry
David.
Potter. Harry Potter, David.
The I haven't read any Harry Potter book,
Or
but I love
movie.
the
Did you see a
movies.
movie?
Which one's your favorite?
What part was that when Tom Riddle was revealed to be a villain?
Oh yeah.
Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
second
Chamber
one.
of Secrets. Uh, I think it was a very tricky episode in the Harry Potter universe. Tom Riddle, you thought he was one of the innocent characters there.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could have seen the movie without reading the book then, because the book you're really shocked when you find out in the book, but it was done really well in the movie.
Mhm.
It's a huge reveal, the whole I am Lord Voldemort thing, the whole moving the letters around in the
Yep.
name.
Mm.
Yeah, it was really clever of um, J.K. Rowling to just move the letters around, and then she goes, "I am Lord Voldemort," and wow, that
May I share an interesting fact about that?
Yeah.
yeah, sure, go
Well,
ahead.
when they published the book in other languages, they had to change Tom Riddle and Voldemort's name to make moving the letters around make sense.
Oh, okay.
So in different countries, Voldemort and Tom Riddle's names are a little different. They tried to keep them as close as possible, but they had to do it different to be able to make the letters work. So, like in France, Voldemort and Tom Riddle have slightly different names.
Mhm.
Okay. So we have probably Dan Riddle or I don't know, something similar to Dan LeBlanc,
Something that sounds
something
like
French
real
sounding.
French.
Dan LeBeau, something to that effect. But now, when it comes to my favorite book, mine would be The Half Blood Prince. That would be
Oh, that's a good one.
that would be one of the best because I never saw because Harry just finds this mysterious book and then he learns all these new spells and he becomes an ace in potions with Professor Slughorn and man, it's just you just don't see that it's actually Snape. That it was
Hmm.
actually that Snape was the Half Blood Prince, and you just get shocked when Snape does the Avada Kedavra curse on Dumbledore. That was one of the biggest twists there.
Do you
It's like
remember
you,
the big controversy with that book with people spoiling it? There were
uh, I don't
so
actually remember it yet.
in
What
the US,
happened?
um, people were lining up to buy the book. They would go to like midnight releases and stuff.
Hmm.
And people who had gotten the book before, gotten the book first, there were groups of people who were driving up in cars to the book release and screaming Snape kills Dumbledore at the top of their lungs.
Oh my! Oh man! So that would be a yeah. Those are really really brave people because you've got a mob of Harry Potter fans, and you're in your car. If your car breaks down, then those people are gonna flip your car over. Ah! No! Oh man.
Okay, I got a challenge for you, Sly.
Yeah, sure.
Without looking, can you name all the movies in order?
Ah, let's see. The Philosopher's Stone slash Sorcerer's Stone. You have a Chamber of Secrets. Um, you've got the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Goblet of Fire, the Order of the Phoenix, Half Blood Prince. Then you've got Deathly Hollows 1 and Deathly Hollows 2. Did I miss
Did you get
anything?
it right? You're on mute.
Oh, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Your mic's been
Oh,
muted.
did
No.
I think that's right. If you're watching this right now, comment if he got any wrong.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, let's see.
David, you mentioned that you like the Hardy Boys. Do you see similarities between the Hardy Boys and Harry Potter?
Maybe in the in that aspect of being a kiddish reading material, the Hardy
I
Boys would love to play an adventure of investigating stuff.
With
But
Nancy
while
Drew.
yeah, so
I kind of see it with you know, in the first movie you have these kids that are kind of working behind the scenes and investigating and breaking the rules and trying to figure it out.
Mm,
I think there's a lot of similarities to those children investigator kind of books like Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew, like Sly
yeah,
said.
I
mhm.
remember one book called the Secret of the Wildcat Swamp in the Swamp. It's uh it's about it's about a certain noise they get to hear every night, and they go into this adventure thing to find out what it is, and the behavior they these kids have, kind of, I kind of see it with Harry Potter and some of the other kids in the film when when they were trying to figure out what really happened to who's that ghost lady in the Harry Potter film, the one who's
Moaning Myrtle.
Moaning Myrtle.
Simone Myrtle, yeah. Um, she couldn't tell what happened, but they had to figure it out. It led them to this situation with Tom Riddle. I can't remember all of it in a very consistent manner, but the vibe that I felt when I was reading The Secret of the Wildcat in the Swamp, I felt the same vibe while watching that Chamber of Secrets episode. It's about kids having an adventure, and you as an audience, it brings you back to that memory of being a kid with a lot of fantasy that you wanted to
Mhm.
enjoy. And
How would the Hardy Boys have dealt
how
with
I
the
wish that,
basilisk? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
how I wish that uh, how I wish that I knew about Harry Potter's existence in pop culture when I was younger. Uh, the first time I heard about Harry Potter, I think it was already in the early 2000s, and I was already in college back then. I think that's the similarity, the vibe that I get about Harry Potter and Hardy Boys.
And you got the mystery aspect of it, like the kids taking agency, and they're going to solve the problem, they're going to fix it, they're going to see what's going on, they're going to help people. That's
Yeah,
the
Mhm.
main thing, because that was the big thing about the Hardy Boys, is that it
yeah.
empowered kids to make critical decision making and try to figure out what the mystery was. And I
It
think that's what
awakens
the
your
big
Mhm.
appeal
curiosity.
was.
It awakens the curiosity of kids and use this curiosity to learn and have fun at the same time.
My children book experience when I was a kid were the Ramona books, the Ramona age 8, and Mouse and the Motorcycle, and
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
um, I did not get to experience Hardy Boys. I did do the Encyclopedia Brown, which is similar.
Oh, I read the
Mm-hmm.
Encyclopedia Brown. That was a
Yeah,
good book. What's cool
Yeah,
about the Encyclopedia Brown is they have the solutions to the mysteries at the end of the book. So they let you guess why
Mhm.
he why he found out that this person was the suspect, why he found out that this person did it, and then at the end of the book, the very last page, you have the solution. So I try not to look at the
yeah.
solutions. I try to solve it on my own, and then by reading everything, and then when I turn to the back, oh, okay, I was wrong
It's like
here. I
the
was
other
right
book,
here.
Choose Your Own Adventure, similar
Yeah,
to that.
Uh,
Mm.
not quite. Choose your own adventure. You make decisions and then you go to different pages. Here, you just read the story and
Mhm.
then you have to guess who the you have to guess who the suspect is, and then at the
Mhm.
back of the book, you have the solution. So it's like
yeah.
multiple stories in one book.
It's sort of the introduction to mystery for children. I think
Mhm.
the concept was based around kind of Agatha Christie kind of books, where
Hmm.
they get all the people together in one room and they ask questions, and they but the clues are very explicit in the Encyclopedia Brown books. You can literally read the book and figure out who did it if you pay attention very carefully.
Hmm. Yes.
I'm sure for an adult it's a lot easier for when we were kids reading them. The
All right.
but it's not real true about Harry Potter. Like, the mystery is revealed as it's revealed. You can't figure it out unless you're just a really good guesser.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Like, I'm sure there were people who were like, I bet you this Tom Riddle guy is the bad guy. I bet you he's just too sus. I bet you there were people who thought that. But
mhm.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get to, I wish, like you, David, I wish I had Harry Potter as a kid. They came out later for me. Um, I was introduced to them because my mother was a fifth grade teacher at the time, and she was doing Harry Potter with her class. So she
Mm.
was really excited about the books. And I was already an adult when they came out. So I got excited about them because she was. And she'd already read them when the movies came out and told me about the differences. So I wanted to read the books as soon as I could.
Mm.
At the I mean, we have to remember that the Harry Potter books were published by Scholastic. They were for kids. They were
Mhm.
intended to be put in school libraries. They were meant to be entertainment for kids. When I was a kid, the big Scholastic book that I read was Jurassic Park.
Oh, I've
Oh,
read that too.
very nostalgic.
Yeah,
I
Very
like the book
nostalgic to
better
me.
than the movie, actually.
oh man, it's so violent. It's so
Yeah, it
ridiculously
is.
violent.
Especially that juvenile T Rex and John Hammond. Oh man, that was. And they had
Uh,
pterodactyls there before.
mm.
Oh, and the little kid that gets killed by the compy,
Oh
Oh,
the
yes, yes,
compies.
I remember that.
all right.
It was brutal.
Before we get even more obscene, I have this behavior that every time I met a Marvel fan, I would ask who is his favorite DC character. If I met someone who happens to be a Star Wars fan, I end up asking, "Are you in favor that Star Trek could be the closest rival?" Now, my question for Super Vegan, being a Harry Potter fan, which franchise do you think would best fit for a crossover in a film?
I think Harry Potter would cross over well with it would have to be a youth title. So if you're going to put Hogwarts and Voldemort and the other magical schools in the same world,
Mhm.
um,
Mm.
Xavier's School for gifted
Wow.
children would probably be a good fit as
Wow.
well,
Wow.
and neither would be aware of each other. The the only aspect of that that makes it a little harder is in the X-Men mutants are kind of public knowledge. So
Mm.
another good crossover would probably be the Supernatural universe from the Supernatural TV show. I
TV
think that's
series.
probably the best
Hmm.
one because there's a lot of Harry Potter parallels already on that show. So
Mhm.
you have secret
Yeah.
societies, you have the men of letters, and then all of a sudden they find out that there's this really, really deep wizard society and they're teaching children all over the world.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ah,
So
right,
that's
right.
my choice.
Yeah.
Supernatural is my choice. I
What
think that
about
would be the best crossover.
crossover with John Constantine
Oh, wow.
Mhm, An exorcist.
or with Doctor Strange?
I think with Doctor Strange is and John Constantine have already done some like parallel world crossover type stuff.
Mm,
So
yeah.
you could have them go into the world. I think it would be really cool if Doctor Strange was aware of the books and went to that world
Yeah.
knowing that it was books. Like he'd read the books and he used that knowledge.
Yeah. What about Twilight?
I've never seen him.
I never seen
Never
him.
seen him, never read him.
Like Robert Pattinson goes to the
Yeah.
school, but
I
he's
I
not a
attempted
sorcerer. He's a
I attempted
vampire.
to watch Twilight. I attempted to watch Twilight and I couldn't get past like the first 20 minutes. I found the movie to be very painful.
Yeah.
I'm not the audience for that movie.
I,
I don't want to badmouth it because I know that there are really hardcore fans out there,
yeah.
and there's a lot of negative attention to that film
Mm,
series and book series. But I just It's not my it's not my bag. I am aware of a lot about the series. Um, I yeah, but not my thing. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I only
I
liked
do
the
love
last two movies of Twilight.
I
The
do
first
love
few
the
ones were.
answer, Super Vegan's answer about crossover with Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted Youngsters.
Yeah, it's really the first one that pops into my head because they're really similar.
I love that idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, slide guy, go on.
Yeah. Okay, but what about a crossover with the Lord of the Rings? Like the Harry Potter kids apparating all of a sudden into
Mm.
the world of Middle Earth, or them opening a school in Middle Earth because they technically exist in a separate dimension.
I well, Middle Earth is the is Earth. Middle Earth is Earth, so you could just say that's history. Gandalf
Hmm.
was, a legendary figure in wizard history, but the Muggles found some, J.R.R. Tolkien was a wizard who decided to make that wizard legend fiction, and so the because when J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth was always intended to actually be Earth. It was intended to be
Mm.
Anglo-Saxon Earth. So the way to do it would be that all really happened. J.R.R. Tolkien was a wizard, and he took wizard legends and adapted them to be a book series.
Oh, okay. See, but what about the C.S. Lewis Narnia?
Shout out
Like,
Jess of the Streets of Mosentes. Narnia would be
shout out,
nice.
yes. Yeah, like the four kids from Narnia going into the world of the White Witch,
Oh, I
and
think I know
then
where you go. So the four kids from Narnia were the founders of Hogwarts.
oh
So
right,
yeah, yeah.
oh
So they're just
my,
the four houses of the school. So if you're going to cross
Gryffindor,
them over, they're
Slytherin,
just the four
Hufflepuff, and
founders of
Ravenclaw.
Hogwarts. They come back from Narnia and then they found Hogwarts.
Oh wow, that is, I like that. That's a story on its own. So one of them is Godric Gryffindor, one of them is Rowena Ravenclaw. So we make up these names of their house, and then they go, yeah, since we come from Narnia, we know magic. We're gonna bring magic into this world. And they found
Oh,
Hogwarts.
I just saw a really lovely comment from Jess. Thank you so much, Jess. That's so nice of you to see. She says, "I think I love you already, Super Vegan Brian." That's cool.
Private message from Gal,
Project message from
one of our
Gal.
friends.
Right. Okay. Thanks so much, Jess. Okay. Now we move on to Fantastic Beast. Okay. Now the first movie was fine. I understood everything that happened in the first movie, especially with Credence. But the second movie, no matter how many times I watch it or read the synopsis, I just actually can't get the story because it's kind of confusing for me. Because first off, you've got um, Liz Strange who keeps dreaming about this baby drowning, and then you've got a Hogwarts where uh, the teachers wear muggle clothes instead of wizard clothes. That's two. And then Credence in the ending, who where Grindelwald gives him Fox the Phoenix, and then calls him Dumbledore. So I'm very, very lost with that movie. So have you already seen the movie, Brian?
Well, Credence was Dumbledore's brother, according to the book, which is really strange because the
Yeah, wasn't
particular
it
brother they
Aberforth?
mentioned,
His
yeah,
Aberforth was his brother.
the particular brother they mentioned was not mentioned in the Deathly Hollows. They mentioned the other
Mm.
brother, but they never mentioned that one. It's really weird. Um, I mean, I'm hoping that there's a good explanation, but that character was brought up for the first time in the second Fantastic Beast movie. Um,
Hmm.
Now, as far as the plot of those movies and the clothes, I mean, dress codes change at schools all the time. I'm sure that they had a different dress code for faculty and they just enforced a new dress code later, probably after
Mhm.
the war with Grindelwald or something like that. Maybe they wanted to do a little bit more traditional thing. I find that glossed over really easy. I mean, rules change. I've been at those meetings at work where you talk about changing the dress code. So
Okay, so I guess that
I do
that's
have to say the way that Redmayne plays oh, I'm blanking on his character's name. Newt. The way that
Newt's
Redmayne
commander.
plays Newt, he's Doctor Who. He comes across to me as Doctor Who through both movies. I mean, he even has a chest that's bigger on the inside. He's Doctor Who. It's
Hmm.
just, and I want him to play Doctor Who now because he does such a good job of playing Newt the way he does.
Ah, yeah. By the way, what's this thing happening with Doctor Who? Because I go through YouTube to like it's a Gundam and Clownfish TV, and
Hmm.
their reviews of the new Doctor Who in BBC are not so good.
Oh, I mean, that could take us way off topic, but I mean, I could jump way into that. If David gives me permission, I'll tell you all about it. But I mean, we
Yeah,
could do that
sure.
another day too.
Yeah, we still have 14 minutes, so go ahead.
All right. So
Okay.
the new Doctor Who series had suffered for some very strange writing. Um, the From my personal opinion, I thought that the first season of Jodie Whittaker's run of Doctor Who was very good, but it didn't give enough attention to all the characters. I still enjoyed it tremendously, and I disagree with a lot of the reviews. I believe that the
Okay.
second season got a little confusing. It went all over the place and then ended with a huge revelation about the Doctor's character, which is sort of a sin because if you reveal a huge thing about a mysterious character, it ruins the mystery. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I was intrigued by that because it gives you more mysteries and more you can learn about the Doctor. They're doing some things with some hidden pasts and they're doing hidden memories to give you a little bit more about the Doctor. And I think that's really cool. That gives you more than you could explore. It gives you more universes you can go into because when you're doing time travel stories and space travel stories, it's easy to run out. And this opens up a new world for the writers and for something for them to do. I
Mhm.
understand the controversy and why people don't like it, but I find it very exciting. Now, the current season of Doctor Who, I haven't looked at any reviews, but if they're saying anything bad about it, they're wrong because it's excellent. So the current season is called
Mm.
Flux and it's running through a serial series. What that means is each episode is an episode of a larger story. It's doing a similar thing to what classic Doctor Who did, where in classic Doctor Who, they would take like a 6 episode run and they would combine it into a big epic serial that had a beginning, had steps, and had an end, almost like you were watching a giant movie. They have
Ah,
done
okay.
that using classic elements in the new series, and Flux has been really exciting. My wife and I've been watching it, and we've been loving it. It has been
Mm.
absolutely excellent. If people are saying it's bad, they're wrong. That's satisfying?
Yes, it is. That clears up a lot of things because
Yeah,
okay.
I have some friends that are big Doctor Who fans, and we have been really excited about this new series. I think that in the collection of the way they've been is the first one was kind of cool because we get to know the new Doctor and the new people. The second one was a little confusing, and then the current season we have right now is super exciting. And it's unfortunate that this is going to be the last season of Jodie Whittaker playing the Doctor, and we're going to get a new Doctor at the end because my wife and I both really like her, and we're going to be sad to see her go.
Hmm. Oh, really? So was it the fan backlash that made them change the Doctor, or
I don't know if
was
that's
it
the
for
case. I think 3 years
different
is a
reasons?
pretty I think 3 years is a pretty reasonable run for a doctor. Some do longer. I mean, there's a lot of aspects that come into play. The actor might want to go in a different direction, be in movies. I mean, Doctor Who is all encompassing. It takes up a lot of an actor's career, and some actors do it longer, some don't. I mean, Christopher Eccleston only did it for one season. Um, I think Tom Baker did it for like 10 years. The David Tennant did it for 4 seasons or 4 series, the way they call it. And
Hmm.
you had, oh, how many was it for Matt Smith? That's like 3 or 4. So 3 years isn't that bad.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Too bad.
Capaldi was a few years. I mean, I don't consider it short. It's just we really enjoy her. I call her the loving doctor because she's very, very caring compared to some of the more
Hmm.
callous portrayals of the doctor.
Oh, okay, I see. So that's what makes more people gravitate towards her as a character for actual Doctor Who fans.
I
Yeah,
have
Good.
the exciting thing about Doctor Who right now, and this is what my Doctor Who friends and I have been talking about, is Russell T Davies, the original showrunner of the new series of Doctor Who, is coming back. So, I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
that could be incredible for Doctor Who.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
With 9 minutes left before 12,
Do you
I
want to
just
bring it
want to
back to
ask
Harry
this.
Potter?
I just
Yeah,
want to ask Super
Hogwarts
Vegan,
reunion.
what particular franchise do you believe we can consider as the greatest rival for Harry Potter series?
What franchise would be the greatest rival for Harry Potter? I mean, in the time or now, or how does that work? Like, do we, because there really wasn't a rival at the time, but like, what would take that youth fantasy idea and surpass it? Okay, yeah, there, I could do that.
I
The
have
greatest
friends
rival of
who
Harry Potter would probably be the Dresden Files. If you haven't heard of the
Hmm.
Dresden Files,
Mhm.
it is it's a private detective series. It started in 2005, and it's about a private detective in Chicago, in the US, who's also a wizard.
Mm.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
but I mean, that's for adults. I mean, if we're gonna go children, oh God,
Yeah, the
oh,
kiddie
that's harder.
stuff, kiddie market.
I don't know if it has one.
Hmm.
Because
Um,
I always believe it's a franchise that stands on its own genre.
okay,
Well,
I'm gonna go a little I'll go a little off book here, but because I think that the biggest rival for Harry Potter is probably something like Undertale, the video game.
mhm.
Hmm. Undertale.
Yeah,
If you're familiar with Undertale, if you're not familiar with Undertale, the way it is it's about going into another world as a kid and interacting with fantastic creatures in that world. But one of the things that the game does is it encourages you to do peaceful and loving approaches versus violence. The game actually gets harder if you
Ah,
attend a
okay.
violent approach. And my niece plays this game, and she is absorbed in it. She's been cosplaying as the characters, her friends cosplay as the characters. So, I mean, if a fantasy world is going to rival the fantasy world of Harry Potter, if a fandom is going to rival Harry Potter for the youth now, it's indie video games like Five Nights at Freddy's and
Hmm.
Undertale, because
what
these
about
kids
Magic the
are
Gathering?
diving into the lore. Oh, yeah. Magic the Gathering's kind of old. I mean, it predates
Yeah,
Harry
it's a
Potter,
game.
David.
Yeah.
Um,
So no
I don't
series
know if
yet
the.
for Magic the Gathering.
I mean, if you got to define compete. So, like,
Mhm.
Harry Potter is a children's book series that has turned into a fandom for the kids that grew up and it's become like a world. What could replace that for the youth of now? I mean, probably the MCU, because that's what kids are growing up with now, the big,
Mm,
giant,
right.
long thing that kids are growing up with now. Um, I mean, for me as a youth, it was Star Wars. So Star Wars was my big thing, and then Harry Potter was the next generation's big thing. And
What about
then,
Lord of the Rings?
oh, I think Harry Potter beat Lord of the Rings for
Mhm,
fandoms.
Yes, it
I
did.
think that it usurped it. I mean,
mhm.
maybe it hasn't come out yet. Maybe the thing that's going to replace Harry Potter hasn't come out yet, but it's probably the MCU. I'm thinking the MCU because I mean, you got it. It overlaps a little bit because like Iron Man came out right around that era when the Harry Potter movies were coming out, but the MCU is still going. But is that going to be the big fandom that the youth embrace when they get older? I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's going to be indie video games. I think it's going to be indie video games. I
I
mean,
think
you're going to be the kids now are going to be doing Fortnite cosplays in 5 years. They're going
Mm,
to be
right.
doing video
PUBG,
game
Fortnite.
cosplays.
yeah,
There's
and
no
I do
big Marvel
believe
children's series.
I do believe that the Harry Potter franchise is a thing of its own. I don't think there was anything meant to
You
be a
think it's
rival to it.
irreplaceable?
If there were people who tried to produce something that could rival, probably they have probably failed even before they started, because long before they thought of producing anything to rival, they already ended up being a fan.
So the verdict is that
None.
you can't compete with Harry Potter.
Nope, you
There be
can't.
none. I think there be none.
But I
So
mean
about
we have to know what kids are into now to really know.
Ah, yeah.
okay, so in 2022, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are returning, and Harry is an Auror now
Is that
in the
really
Return
happening?
to Hogwarts. Well, there's an
Wow.
HBO special called Return to Hogwarts where we're gonna do a recap. But they have a movie in the works, or they're planning this movie in the works where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are already older. Harry's an Auror already, and they're gonna come up with new series because, yeah, the demand for the original cast is just too big for them to ignore. I mean, yes, the book ended, but you've got
Well,
a
cool.
fan who
And if you want to
just can't
watch
get
the
enough.
original series, if you want to watch the original series, you can do that on HBO Max right now. The whole thing is up.
Oh yes, the entire series is on HBO
You know
Max.
what?
So if you wanna binge
Long
watch,
before
then
the Harry Potter franchise, I was a kid who loved the never-ending story. If you
ah
still
yeah,
remember that,
Bastion and Atreo.
yeah. Until Harry Potter came into my life, and I knew Harry Potter's the thing of my generation, not really the never-ending story.
So
The never-ending story could be a thing of the past for me,
so
but
I'm gonna have to jump
the
out.
Tom Riddle thing was really very memorable to me.
I'm gonna have to jump out of this right at the hour. So can I have a sec to
Yep.
plug my podcast?
Yeah,
Uh,
sure. Go
Yep.
ahead.
awesome.
And
So
I have to jump as well.
yeah, I'm on Nerd Podcast Radio, and we're actually recording an episode directly after this. And Sly is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking
And
about the name of
yes,
the episode is going to be
my
called
boss will be
"Stupid
there
Nerd
as well.
Tricks." The name of the episode is "Stupid Nerd Tricks," and we're going to be talking about skills and things we've learned and things we're good at and jobs and how we learned things. And it's going to be kind of a brainy episode this time, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty of comic books and movies and TV shows too. So you can
Especially
find
Batman. Lots of
You can find
Batman.
Nerd Podcast Radio at soundcloud.com/Nerd Podcast Radio. You can find us on Twitter at
Yeah,
Nerdcast Radio and Instagram at Nerd Podcast Radio and patreon.com/Nerd Podcast Radio.
All
yeah,
right,
and
and I'm gonna share that with the page later.
Cool. Thank you. It was
I'll
fun
just
being here today.
yeah, I'll just promote one thing for us. Our official Facebook group, it's Geek Pop Hobby Club. Guys, if you have collectibles to share, you want to sell, you want to trade, this Facebook group is for you. The official Facebook group where the people from Geek Side Out are very active almost every day. The Sly Guy is streaming all these games. All right, thank you very much, Super Vegan Brian. Sly Guy, it is now 12 in the AM here, Philippine Standard Time. What time it is? What time is it in America?
8
8
a.m.
a.m.
Good morning, Super V.
Good
He's about to have his breakfast, so we're gonna have to say goodbye for now. But this is not the end of everything. The Harry Potter stuff is just too big to talk about for a 1 hour episode. We'll probably meet Super V Brian again. Once again, thank you, Sly Guy. Thank you, Super Vegan Brian. This has been David Beat. You just watched the Geeks Hideout. See you again tomorrow night. I mean,
Goodbye.
mid morning. Goodbye.